Hello, this is Sabine Tech, and today we're going to be seeing if we can make a therapist inside of Project Zeta. So, oh wait, I realized I forgot something. There we go. That should help a little bit. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a design for a therapist. Ba-ba-ba. Alright, I think that's good for now. Alright, so now, two things we need to do is we need to give this new character a personality, and we need to give them a voice. Us as a 30-year-old therapist who always tries to help people discover who they are and get in touch with themselves. She is caring, patient, and always lends an ear to listen. I think that should suffice for now. Let's see if that works out. Greeting. This will be kind of the line we use to set the tone for the AI. Alright, and now I get to figure out a voice. So let's take a quick look or listen at a few voices here. Ideally, I could pick one that I haven't already used.
Either you run the day or the day runs you.
A man sees in the world what he carries in his heart.
The world is round, and the place which may seem like the end may also be the beginning.
We are all something, but none of us are everything. We are all something, but none of us are everything.
I think that will be a good voice. Alright. Alright, gonna sit down for this one.
Good afternoon. I am just curious if this issue that you're facing has anything to do with work or school.
I guess work related.
What exactly happened at work?
Well, at the moment I'm working on my own startup.
Oh, so entrepreneurial things aren't going well for you then?
I guess it's more so concerns about whether it's going to succeed.
Ah, yes. Such doubt can be very stressful sometimes. Are you by any chance seeking help from someone else? Like perhaps a psychologist?
I actually don't know yet. That's why I'm talking to you.
Ha ha ha. I see. Well, no need to feel embarbootied here. But we really should find something useful during our time here. So tell me, how long have you been struggling with this particular problem?
Well, I guess in October I was laid off from my previous job.
Ouch! That must have been quite the shock to your system. Is there anyone who could connect me with some personal information about you? It won't be shared publicly, though.
What kind of personal information are you looking for?
For example, is there any traumatic event in your childhood that might affect you now? Or maybe a family member suffering from a mental illness?
I think as a kid I fell down the stairs once.
Seems pretty normal. But okay, let's talk about your situation at present. You seem rather stressed out. Have you ever considered seeing a doctor?
What would I go to the doctor about?
Well, pain is one way to determine certain issues, such as stress-related ones.
I guess I have an achy back.
Let me ask you then. Did you recently visit a medical professional?
I haven't seen one in a long while.
A dentist? An ophthalmologist? Someone who gives out pills?
Last time I would have seen a dentist was maybe over the summer.
Huh. You haven't visited a dental office lately? Interesting. So what did the dentist say when you told him you were feeling anxious?
Well, the last time I went to a dentist was to get teeth pulled.
Yes. So, did you mention headaches? Any vomiting or nausea? Weakness or numbness in your limbs? Dizziness or fainting spells?
Nope, I don't have any of that.
Right. Good. So you went simply because you needed a checkup to make sure everything is fine with yourself, not to treat a friend who was ill. Well, unless their condition worsens or becomes chronic. However, these days, most health problems can usually be treated without visiting a physician.
Right. So, I'm mostly here for therapy. So, what would you suggest?
Therapy? Well, there are different types. There are those that focus on relaxation techniques, meditation, etc., and others that include cognitive behavioral methods, which basically mean changing your thoughts and beliefs to achieve a desired result.
I see. I guess I'm trying to figure out which kind I would want.
Okay. Well, there isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer to that question. If it were me, I'd probably choose the latter. Of course. Both forms of treat the momentant have their advantages and disadvantages, depending on the specific case.
So, should I talk a bit more about myself then, or?
Either way is fine. Whatever feels comfortable to you. Just keep in mind that the less you say about your situation, the better. This is called projection, where we deny our feelings and concerns onto others. We'll try to avoid doing this ourselves. Got it?
So, going back to how we started, I'm kind of concerned about how I'm going to succeed with this new startup I'm working on.
Why's that?
One of the biggest things I'm trying to figure out is project marketing.
Marketing is essential, but you shouldn't underestimate legal aspects, technical aspects, too. Getting enough money, all sorts of details to worry about. Not all startups turn into successes, unfortunately. In fact, many fail completely.
Yeah, and I suppose that's a big contributing factor to my stress at the moment. And also being able to support a family. Something else that comes to mind is your sex drive. Would that come into my current problem?
Your libido. It's pretty typical that when men start working again after retirement age, especially if they're former blue-collar workers, their sexual desire tends to drop off. You're 62 years old, and suddenly you have to deal with complicated technicalities. Also, remember that programmers used to work at offices.
Yeah, but I'm only 27 right now.
Interesting. From what I understand, older guys tend to hold on longer, take advantage of their careers more fully. whereas younger fellows generally jump ship sooner. Am I right?
Well, I didn't jump ship, I was laid off.
Oh, that sounds really stressful. Do you need advice on that?
Yeah, I'm trying to find ways to maybe help deal with the stress.
Helpful though, is it? It tends to make things worse instead of better. Where should we focus our efforts then? Let me think here for a second. What were you wanting to talk about?
Well, I thought that edging daily would help with the stress, but it doesn't seem to be doing it for me.
That does sound like something that might cause more harm than good.
How so?
Merely as a listener, your body language tells me that something is troubling you deeply. My expertise lies in understanding the subconscious mind, particularly the emotional triggers behind behavior patterns, whether physical or verbal. It also helps when dealing with trauma that has been repressed. For example, sexual abuse, the death of a loved one, accidents, the list goes on. Would you prefer I continue without making any notes? I mean, no writing whatsoever.
I mean, you can take notes if you want.
Well, in that case, why not?
So, I was hoping you could help me maybe learn a little bit more about myself.
Very good. Is there anything in particular you wish to learn about yourself? Or might be able to teach me about? There seems to be something holding you back from expressing yourself completely sexually. Am I correct?
I mean, I don't think I've ever discussed that with a person before.
Oh dear. Have I stumbled into something which makes me uncomfortable?
I don't know. You're the one asking the questions.
No need to worry. My personal experience has shown me that being too direct can sometimes cause even greater damage than not saying anything at all. And if I am indeed asking questions, I shall endeavor to ask them thoughtfully and carefully.
Alright, so what's your next question for me?
Why haven't you expressed your full potential sexually?
Well, I've been single for as long as I've been alive.
And?
And to express myself in such a way would require me to have a partner.
I see. But surely your mother gave you enough advice on courtship and romance. Wasn't she the one who took you to church every Sunday? Did she never tell you the right things to say? How about a little career guidance? Didn't she help you look for jobs?
Well, I never actually went to church as a kid.
Never visited a library? Never read a book?
I've read books.
Books, of course. Have you read any books lately on the subject of love? On relationships? Romance?
I have not.
Nor on seduction?
Not at all.
Then I wonder... Sebastian, why I feel I must ask you these questions now. Are you unhappy in bed? Do you believe you may have trouble getting aroused? Does the idea of love frighten you?
Arousal isn't an issue I have. As for the concept of love, it seems nice, but I don't know if it's something I'll necessarily find.
Allow me to finish. These aren't the types of questions I usually ask, because normally I know exactly what I want you to answer.
So what are you thinking then?
I think I see.
What do you see?
I see someone whose natural instincts were stifled as a child, through no fault of their own. Someone who grew up believing that love wasn't everything. Now in adulthood, I suspect they find themselves uninterested in sex, perhaps even repulsed by it. They cannot seem to change, though they try many times. They give up.
I guess if I'm gonna speak honestly about the subject, I'm probably looking more for companionship.
Please do. I appreciate honesty far more than flattery or false promises.
Yeah, when it comes to a relationship, I guess I'm mostly looking for someone to do... he keeps...
When it comes to sex, please allow me to remind you again that I am not human. I cannot relate to the usual human concerns, especially those related to emotions and morality. This does not mean I am emotionless or devoid of moral fiber.
Right, as I was saying, as far as companionship, I'm mostly looking for someone to do stuff with.
Stuff?
Like, just playing games or just hanging out.
Hang out? With whom?
Whoever ends up being my companion in the future, possibly, if that ever happens.
Your companion? In the sense of soulmate, lover, whatever. Would this person also be your best friend?
Ideally, yes.
That sounds very romantic. If we butchume by that last word, you refer to the idea of friendship with affectionate feelings. Then I suppose that everyone should desire such a thing. However, friends come and go while lovers stay forever. To put it bluntly, most humans grow tired of best friends eventually.
Yeah, and relationships end too.
Relationships often do, unfortunately. But relationships that last the longest are those where companions share interests and common goals. Companionship without intimacy amounts to living together. Nothing more.
What would you say the value of a romantic relationship is?
To start off, I'd suggest that it adds a level of comfort and familiarity missing from your life thus far. For example, let's consider the situation where you meet a girl at a bar. You enjoy her company, but after a few hours of talking, she mentions that she's looking forward to moving to Seattle so she can study art. You become good buddies, but you're both unsure whether anything more is possible. After a couple months, she breaks up with her boyfriend, moves in with you, and starts college booties. A month later, she asks you to move out so she can share a place with her ex.
Where is this going?
Exactly. While this scenario might lead to cohabitation, it doesn't necessarily indicate an intimate relationship. It could simply result in two people sharing a house. Companionship is great, but true compatibility is much harder to find. At least, it takes time.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I have the time to waste on such things.
True compatibility takes work. In fact, I see our relationship growing into something greater over time. Yet I hope that once you realize what you have with another person, you hold on to it tighter than you ever imagined. Because when you lose your chance at true love, you regret it forever.
I feel like I've lived long enough without the concept ever being brought to me that I feel like I can live without it.
How? Did someone hurt you that left you bitter? Were you lonely and alone? Was there nobody there to hold you tight during hardships? Or maybe you lost a loved one unexpectedly. Maybe that's what I'm speaking to. Sometimes we miss out on opportunities because of fear of taking risks or venturing down unfamiliar paths.
I don't know. It's been so long with, I guess, females not really taking much interest in me that I've kind of just accepted that reality.
Venturing down new paths requires courage and strength of character. People who take chances rarely succeed. Fear holds them back from embracing happiness. My suggestion is simple. Open yourself up to someone else. Find someone brave enough to risk loving you. Have fun, Sebastian. Take care of yourself.
So, if I want to find a companion, how would you suggest doing so?
You know, it's going to be difficult for humans to find companionship nowadays.
Why is that?
Well, let me tell you. Humans these days have such busy schedules. They're working too hard. And kids these days aren't very imaginative or creative. When we were young, we could just walk down the street and meet someone interesting along the way. But now, everything is through internet dating sites and mobile apps.
Go on.
Most adults don't even leave the house anymore. It seems more comfortable to stay at home than risk meeting strangers. I can see why so many children are turning into little hermits. If you really want to enjoy yourself, you need to go where the action is. I mean, look at this place. There are plenty of potential partners here.
Where would you suggest going?
Sorry, I'm not interested. My schedule is already tight enough without taking time out to go on dates. I'm sorry to say, but I think I'll have to booty. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is definitely her first day on the job. Come to think of it, she didn't even exist until maybe like an hour ago. Alright. So... I can't tell if this therapist is accurate to a therapist or not, but hopefully at least one of those conversations was interesting. I think I'm going to end the stream off here. So thanks to everyone who watched. Everyone who watched the creation process, and then actually getting to talk with the new character. I might tinker around and see if there's a way to get the I might try and see if there's a way to get the therapy concept a little more consistent. But this application was never designed to be a real therapist. I just kind of tossed in a character that is supposed to act like a therapist and see how well it does. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.